What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, January 6th, 2024, and we are back for another midday live here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. Before I get into everything, make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Before I go ahead and get into what we're going to be discussing today, let me go ahead and also acknowledge the people who are also here in the chat. We have Miriam R, Kid Gravity Beyond, Darlene, Denise, Cool Spider, Lavanya, Tell It Like It Is, Tildall 12. Shout out to John Abrams for subscribing to the channel. Lisa Hickman, SD Johnson 857, Shamika Gray, Mr. Williams, Vlad, Determined Hustle, Stephen Brown, and James Denny. That's who we have in here so far. It says that we have 85 people watching. Make sure you go ahead again and hit that like button. So yesterday morning, I had posted up a community post saying that today y'all will be getting a Torian Ring Reloaded special, meaning that you were going to get a Triple P and a Bed Bucking video. But the plot twist to it is that it was going to be on the same person. That never happened. I think this is probably the first time ever on my channel where I've done this. And I said it lines up perfectly for me. So y'all have already seen the Triple P this morning. If y'all have not watched it, go and check that out after this live stream, preferably if you're in here right now and didn't watch it earlier. But basically, the Triple P this morning is basically the segueing point into this live stream right now. So basically what happened is, to give y'all a little bit of context, Jason Whitlock had posted up a screenshot on his X account where he's trying to question why this particular ad popped up onto his page when he was on the ESPN website. And I already described for y'all what was on the page. It was, fairly, I would say it was graphic, but it was on the PG-13 side just because of the text. It didn't show anything, but it gives you an idea of what he types into his browser history. I'll put it like that. It was basically a retargeted ad. And for those of y'all who don't know how that worked, and I actually explained it into the video, if you search something on the internet and you go to a different particular website, it probably has nothing to do with whatever you looked up. It'll pop up on your browser page. So say, for example, like I used in the video that I did this morning, if you were looking up some kind of an electronic device or whatever, and then you went onto Facebook and Facebook has ads on it, the ad for whatever you're looking up will probably pop up somewhere on that page, or it may be something relative to whatever it is you were looking up. So this particular image or text popped up on Jason Whitlock's page when he was on ESPN, and then he tried to play dumb and act like he didn't know where it came from, or somehow, some way ESPN was setting him up. It's very weird. And then he left it up there for the world to see. I was like, you didn't even have to, first off, you took a picture up and posted it up there, and then you just left yourself wide open for basically getting trolled. But then he ended up doubling down on that, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And I have to give a shout out to Kid Gravity, because the other part that I'm gonna show to this actually is came from him. I had asked him could he send me the video, but see the thing is I already had Jason Whitlock blocked anyway, so I had to go to his page because what I didn't know is you can actually view the posts of the people that you blocked, and I just went on there and I had to retrieve the actual video itself. So this is going to be a combination of an article that he wrote on the Blaze, because in case y'all didn't know, he works for the Blaze. That should tell you all you need to know right there. And then we're going to go over the video response that he did, which was clipped from I guess a stream or some kind of video that he did on his YouTube channel when he's addressing it again. But I'll give people a couple of more minutes to come on in, and then we will go ahead and get started. And of course, when I go through all of this, I will drop the link and you can come on up and we'll discuss for a couple of minutes how y'all feel about that. And I know y'all are going to have a lot to say about this. And there's a reason why I titled the video Don't Bring Us Into It, but that's going to be coming more into it when we go into the video portion response that he gave. I think he said something slick in the article itself, but I'm not sure. But I know he said something in the video because I already saw the video. But I'm glad everybody is here right now on this early Saturday afternoon. If you're on the East Coast, is after 12 for me. Give it about one more minute and we will go ahead and get started. All right, we have reached the 10-minute mark. So now I'm going to go ahead and share the screen, and we will go ahead and start with the article first that he wrote on his account on the Blaze. And let me just say this picture right here is very, very interesting to say the least. It says Fearless because that's the name of his show. Is called Fearless. Well, we know one thing he's not fearful of, and that's definitely them butter biscuits with a sprinkle of butter dust. We know that for a fact. So he posted this up on his Blaze account on January 3rd, 2024, which was 3 days ago. And it says, Whitlock, my response to Temu, ESPN, and balls deep advertising porn. So let's go ahead and see what he is talking about. And I'm telling you, it's a bunch of BS, y'all. So bear with me. It says American culture needs to enter a sexual rehabilitation program. We live in a raunchy world. It's obvious we need a return of sexual modesty. Keep in mind what this guy most likely been searching on his browser. So now it's reading off as you are trying to throw onto everybody what you did. You exposed yourself, not us. It's years ago at the apex of my career as strictly a sports pundit, I was celebrated for my celebration of sexual debauchery. In August 2009, I penned quite possibly my most infamous column. Rick Pitino ran into the biggest dynasty in sports. The piece lampooned the college basketball coaching legend after a woman tried to extort him for millions of dollars after a tryst on a restaurant floor. It began, the 72 Dolphins can't touch my, I'm going to say snatch galore. It went on to lament man's inability to resist the sexual temptation of women. That galore turned into a series of columns for me, a signature calling card anytime a high-profile sports figure found himself trapped in a sexual controversy. I told you this thing reads very weird. I gave y'all the disclaimer before y'all came in here that this thing reads all very strange. In November 2009, after Tiger Woods' Thanksgiving incident with his then wife Elin Nordgren, I argued that snatch galore should be named Sports Person of the Year. In 2013, I published a fictional interview with Miss Galore about her relationship with Tiger Woods. Sports fans and many of my sports pundit peers loved my Snatch Galore columns. It became a catchphrase among edgy and hip sports broadcaster. But my promotion of sexual immorality extended well beyond humorous columns on my podcast, Real Talk with Jason Whitlock. I never shied away from talking about sex. When Jenna Shea, a porn star and escort linked to Lil Wayne and James Harden, he found a way to, of course, bring two black men into it, as he always does, made news in 2013 by releasing text messages from a Louisville basketball star who proposed to his girlfriend. I interviewed Shea. I later brought on a Los Angeles stripper and friend connected to multiple NBA stars to discuss proper etiquette between athletes and groupies. She stripped naked halfway through the in-studio interview. You want to know what's so interesting? PC will read something like this and swear up and down he's being brave. I mean, y'all should see some of the comments that they leave when he put this up, as well as the video we're going to get into after we go through the article. I told you this article is very weird. Like someone else said in the chat, it reads like an incel wrote it. Why am I reminding you of all of this? Because none of what I just mentioned had any real negative impact on how I was perceived in the sports media industry. None. ESPN hired me to conceive and launch The Undefeated well after Snatch Galore and The Real Talk. What has consistently caused me problems inside the sports media industry is my insistence on transparency, the perception that my worldview is aligned with political conservatism, and the fact that I rail against liberal hypocrisy and call for moral accountability. Also, the fact that you like to railroad black men in sports. Let's not leave that part out, but of course he wrote this, so of course he's going to leave that out. But I figure I would fill in the blanks for him. This week, the sports and social media industrial complexes have a big problem with me. I complained on X, formerly Twitter, about a sexually explicit advertisement that ran atop ESPN's webpage when I was perusing the NFL standings. It was a Timu ad hawking birthday cards. The text reads, "Balls deep inside me is a great way to spend your birthday." What he doesn't talk about is the other part that was next to it. If y'all watch my video, I didn't blur that part out. My tweet caused the internet to melt. My critics rushed to ridicule me, claiming I didn't understand that the targeted advertising reflected my internet activity, which it did. We now know what you be researching. The post has 24 million views, 5,000 replies, and nearly 5,000 retweets. Here's the thing. You posted it up there for the world to see. If you didn't want nobody to see it, you wouldn't have posted it. So you wanted the attention. See, now he's trying to take himself out of the equation, and he can't. The damage is already done, and you posted it, and you still left it up there. The tweet is still up there, y'all. What y'all saw was a screenshot, but on his page, that tweet is still there. It's still active. He never deleted it. It's still there right now as we speak. The New York Post, the Daily Mail, Barstool Sports, and aggregators from as far away as Colombia have written pieces furthering the narrative that my raunchy internet browsing explains the raunchy advertisement. He goes on to say it's not true. My critics know it's untrue, and that's not a contention that there's zero raunchiness to my browsing. In my line of work, raunch is unavoidable if you want to keep up to date on P. Diddy, Sexy Red, TD Jakes, Hunter Biden, George Santos, Donald Trump, Deshaun Watson, and some of my former friends. We live in a raunchy world. I spent many years reveling in it. But I've been trying to escape it since about 2014 when I finally figured out why I was so polarizing, controversial, and despised in the sports media industry. The revelation occurred to me during my second stint at ESPN. The relentless backlash I faced from the sports media establishment forced me to accept that the big sexy persona I had adopted was a fraud. Who was out here calling this man big sexy? My grandmother, Lovey Kennedy, and a tiny church in Indianapolis planted Christian seeds in me that I could not elude. The roots of those seeds were evident in all the journalistic work that upset many of my peers and critics. The most effective piece I've ever published chastised the 2007 hyperbolic reaction to radio shock jock Don Imus calling Rutgers women's basketball player nappy-headed hoes. I pointed out the moral failure of the non-existent outrage over commercial rap's music denigration of black people and promotion of degeneracy. Of course he would. He probably most likely agreed with him. I want to know, now that we're going all the way back this far, that was around the time that the Boondocks was on. I need to ask Aaron Magruder a question. Was Uncle Ruckus based on Jason Whitlock? The best piece of journalism I ever produced exposed the fraudulence of the true mastermind of the 2007 Gina 6 racial injustice. Alan Bean, a white liberal minister, concocted the far-fetched narrative that 6 black boys nearly killed a white classmate because a noose was tied on a tree 5 months earlier. Bean spoon-fed the narrative to white liberal reporters. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and other black race hustlers cashed in on the racial grift served up by their white handlers. Jason, what the hell are you doing right now? One could argue he's doing the exact same thing. The Gina 6 work was similar to the pieces I wrote pointing out the bogusness of the 2006 Duke lacrosse scandal. My work on Imus, the Gina 6, and Duke lacrosse is among the best newspaper sports writing ever published. And that has to be based solely on your own opinion. It has to be. The sports media industry hated all of it. The Kansas City Star deleted all of my work from its website. The newspaper Wikipedia page mentions all of its major awards except the 2007 Scripps Howard National Journalism Award for commentary I won. Why is that? Because in 2010, I exited the newspaper by exploiting the editor's affair with an unqualified subordinate he installed as our sports editor. He denied the affair. She resigned from her position, and the two married shortly after. He probably wanted in on it. Choosing truth over fame. My point is, for the most of my adult life, I had a wild one-sided good versus evil battle raging inside of me. The events at ESPN related to the undefeated humbled me and caused my surrender to Christ. Oh God, someone bring out the organ. I started taking steps to clean up my life. I began talking frequently about my Christian identity. Slowly, that public identity initiated a change in my behavior. I placed freedom and truth above money and fame. I quit frequenting strip clubs. I untangled myself from unhealthy relationships. In 2020, I left Los Angeles to live in an environment more supportive of my Christian faith. I moved to Tennessee. I bet you he moved to Nashville. Isn't that where most of the bootlegs all congregate at? Is in Nashville? I'm not saying you can't be Christian in California. I'm saying it was a lot harder for me. It's too close to Las Vegas. The weather is so warm and the women are so beautiful that it feels like they're all half naked most of the time. Y'all, this is crazy. Man, I can't wait to get through this so I can drop that link. I've spent the last few years reflecting on and discussing my mistakes and how behavior like mine contributed to America's moral decay. Last week on X, I weighed in on the conservative calendar controversy, which he probably is going to purchase, the dust up about right-wing female influencers posing for sexy pictures for conservative dads. The pics, by today's standards, are extremely tame. Of course he would like that. It's all PC women in there. But I understand why evangelicals were bothered. There is no proper way to lust. Heterosexual lust is the slippery slope that the LGBTQ plus sexual deviance and drag show for kids. We heterosexuals, and I side out for you with that one, centered and celebrated our sexuality everywhere. We made it our primary identity. You couldn't watch a movie, turn on your television, or listen to music without seeing or hearing heterosexual lust. Well, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The alphabet mafia is mirroring heterosexual behavior. Gay pride parades don't look much different from the old school Carl's Jr. hamburger commercials featuring bikinied women. And of course, he found a way to bring food into here because, you know, that's like a pastime for him. The mainstream had no problem when I would interview Strip Club Rick about the friendliest champagne rooms in Vegas. Should we be surprised the mainstream is okay with mentally ill men gyrating in front of children? My mental illness. Now he has a mental illness, y'all. This just keeps getting better and better. Legalize their mental illness. That's why the mainstream media never objected to my immorality. As I have recovered my mental health and focus on educating people about who really built the sexual slippery slope, heterosexuals, and the negative ramifications of it. Mainstream and social media have turned up their animus toward me. How dare I complain about sexualized Temu ads on Disney Sports website? because you was most likely going to those websites. Disney didn't put it there. Don't blame Disney and ESPN for getting into bed with the Chinese company looking for ways to further corrupt American culture. It's your fault, Jason, you visit naughty websites. Well, if the shoe fits. When I go to a sports website, I don't want to be distracted by sex. I'm in recovery. I'm trying to avoid a relapse. No, my most frequent online activities involve researching weight loss methods. Okay, if you say so. And punching into Google, what does the Bible say about X, Y, or Z? When I visit websites, I'm inundated with targeted ads about intermittent fasting, exercise routines, and fat burning supplements. You know what I don't ever remember seeing? A targeted ad about the Bible or Christianity. Well, here's the thing. Well, why didn't that pop up on the ESPN site? Since you apparently know how they work, why didn't what you're talking about that you say you researched, why didn't that pop up on the ESPN site? Because if that is what you look up, that's what would have been there. I've seen 2 Temu ads on ESPN in the past 6 months. The Balls Deep birthday card and a woman modeling a t-shirt that says, I lick, swallow, and suck. I complained both times. I'm going to keep complaining. We have so normalized explicit sexuality that school teachers think it's their jobs to discuss gender and sexuality with 2nd and 3rd graders. Some parents think it's a good idea to expose their kids to drag shows, and our government believes that gender confusion is a job qualification. I'm not a self-righteous prude. That's debatable. I struggle daily to correct course and stay in the safe zone. I can't handle Instagram. More than a year ago, I turned over the app to the people on my team so I don't waste time looking at women in yoga pants and booty shorts. I signed up for Covenant Eyes, the app that blocks naughty websites. When I go to a sports website, I don't want to be distracted by sex. I don't want a woman telling me she looks, swallows, and sucks. I'm in recovery. I'm trying to avoid a relapse. American culture needs to enter a sexual rehabilitation program. It's obvious we need a return of sexual modesty. Our over emphasis on sex has enormous damaging consequences. I want y'all to understand this is all because he got caught slipping. Everything that he's writing right here, I told you, is a bunch of BS. It's because he got caught slipping out here that he had to write a whole haiku, a whole confession statement, like we care. When a man defines his masculinity and identity around sexual conquest, he undermines his ability to lead and forfeits his leverage in the relationship. Our lack of sexual discipline powers the matriarchy's defeat of the patriarchy. We're trading our freedom, influence, power, traditions, rights, and God-ordained dominion of the earth for sexual access to women who seek to rule over us. It's absolute insanity. White liberals have already lab tested the matriarchy in America. They installed black women as rulers of black men and the black family. Look what that rulership has wrought in our neighborhoods and our children, particularly black boys. So there's the part where he finally inserts something about black people. And that's nothing compared to what y'all are going to hear in that video clip. Trust me. That's an uncomfortable truth that will further cement me on the enemy's list of progressives. I'm good with the people who tolerated me and when I endorse sexual immorality, hating me for propagating biblical truth. The recent spat of attacks on me confirms my belief that I'm hitting the right targets. He truly believes that he's on to something. For the past 2 months, progressives have kept updating my Wikipedia page with details intended to place me in a bad light. They recently added a paragraph about an episode of Fearless in which I discussed President Barack Obama's legacy as it relates to the LGBTQ agenda. The letter Obama wrote to his college girlfriend detailing his fantasies about sex with men sparked the episode. Wikipedia claims the show was about the conspiracy theory that Michelle Obama was transgender. The political left is concerned about losing its grip on black men and black voters. The Obamas, particularly Michelle, are the Hail Mary the Democrats might throw to save the presidential election. Barack and Michelle are the glue of the LGBTQ Black Lives Matter coalition, or what I call the alphabet mafia. 2 of the 3 founders of BLM are lesbians. For his ability to advance acceptance of the LGBTQ, Newsweek magazine held Barack Obama as the quote-unquote first gay president. I spent much of the last 3 years connecting the dots on how heterosexual promiscuity, feminism, the LGBTQ, and racial idolatry coalesced to radically change American cultural norms. Those on the left know I'm a lost cause. Truth be told, Jason, those on the right know you are too. Even down the middle, you're a lost cause. Why don't you just go live somewhere and be a nomad? I know a place we can send you, the North Sentinel Islands. I think they will greatly appreciate you there. And with how you are shaped, they might eat for months. They'll smear me for the same reason they smeared Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Glenn Beck. Now, notice who he mentioned: Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and Glenn Beck. 3 anti-black PC individuals who have no problem displaying how anti-black they are. Shout out to Tell It Like It Is for the $9.99 super chat. He says, weight loss. Try taking your rotund ass to the gym. You done got so skilled at trolling. You successfully trolled yourself. Good job. Appreciate the super chat. Then it ends off. It says they want everyone to know the consequences of pursuing the truth. This guy literally thinks that he's a truth teller, and his constituents think he is as well. So that was the whole article right there. Listen, I know that was a lot to digest. That was actually my first time reading that whole article. I didn't even realize the article was that long. Man, this man sure can talk. But now that we've got to the article, now I'm going to show y'all the video that he made on the 4th. Now, this definitely is the next day. This video was posted on his X account the next day. I'm going to read to you what the caption says. The handlers of the media don't like me. I'm a problem because I won't take the programming. I'm going to spend however much time I have left on this earth explaining to you all the game that's being ran. Listen, grifting is not truth telling. And that's exactly what you're doing. It doesn't take much to grift. It really doesn't. He's choosing to grift. And then he's saying he's out here doing truth telling stuff, or his audience is telling him this crap. So I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna play it. There might be some parts in here where I'm gonna have to pause it so I can give my take on it. The clip is 3 minutes and 19 seconds long.
They don't want you to see your role in creating this chaos. They don't, and particularly as it relates to Black people, they don't want us to see. How did we marry Black people to the LGBTQ?
See how he already started this. Now this is going into the part of the title of the video when I said don't bring us into it. Remember, y'all, this is the next day. The article that he wrote that I read for y'all was from the 3rd, the day before. This is the next day on the 4th.
How did we do that? Man, these people were hyper religious in the 50s and 60s. These people were hyper religious in the 1900s, in the 1800s. How did we get them to throw out every Christian value taught in the Bible? How did we get them on?
Who's the one that installed the Bible, Jason? It's easy for them to say white liberals did this or white conservatives did this. As far as I'm concerned, as an unaffiliated person from either side, they all played a part in this. Both of them did. It wasn't just one side. It wasn't just the other. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I forgot to mention this, but someone had posted up on X where they were trying to say, oh, the left is known for plagiarizing and stuff like that. I'm like, see how they always keep doing that? This is exactly why, and shout out to TBA. He did a very good broadcast about why Black people should not, and forgive me if I get the title wrong, because I most likely will, should not align themselves with the Republican Party, especially this version of it. We already gave you all the reasons as to why, you know, what we say about the Democratic Party. We've given several reasons as to why, but they are no better. Look who they want Black people to be, just to be aligned with them. If they want us to truly be aligned with them, we would have to be literally the caricature of this slop that you see on your screen. We would have to be that. And if we aren't that, there's no use for us. Well, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with being of no use to you.
On board. How did we recreate their identity? How did we turn their little black boys into overly emotional, completely emasculated young men?
This coming from the man who spent the last quarter. Let me say that again. This coming from the man who spent the last quarter of 2023 doing endless posts and videos and live streams on Deion Sanders. I'm talking about from September all the way through December when their season was over, and he probably still talking about him. Now he's starting to talk about Stephen A. Smith. And he wants to sit up there and talk about emotions and being emasculated. You spent 4 months talking about this black man, his team, his sons, every day. And you want to talk about emotions and emasculating.
How did that happen? How did they do that? And this process started well before Obama. Well before. It started 60, 70 years ago when they said, and you've seen me talk about it on this show, but when they looked at the Patrick Daniel Moynihan report, the Moynihan report.
Oh, God, here we go.
That in 1965, that called for an investment in the black man to restore and rehabilitate the black family. And Lyndon Johnson and the mainstream media let's just start with the mainstream media, labeled Moynihan's report racist.
You mean the same mainstream media you were once a part of? I hope Jason Whitlock knows that he's literally on his last strike. If he blows this gig that he has with the Blaze, he's done. As far as being attached to I guess some kind of media platform, he's done if he blows this gig. That's why he has to continuously buck dance as hard as he does. That's probably why they kicked him out of California, because he was buck dancing so hard. He was the one causing all them earthquakes and mudslides. Now he's Tennessee's problem.
This man wrote a report for the president calling for investment in the black man and the black family. The media labeled it as racist and anti-black and calls Lyndon Johnson, and perhaps Lyndon Johnson was a racist, maybe he wanted to pivot, but calls him to pivot to, nope, we're going to go great society and we're going to invest in the black woman and the matriarchal culture, and we're going to turn the entire black family into a matriarchy. And they've done that. And that's why little black boys and black men are completely emasculated, completely controlled by emotions.
So again, what he's talking about has nothing to do with what we saw. So I want y'all to understand what he's doing. He's trying to slither his way out of his little controversy. And what does he do? His typical shtick. Let's throw black people under the bus. What have I told y'all? Whenever they get caught slipping, whenever they want to get back in the good graces of their handlers, the best strategy to do is what you did to get in the good graces of your handlers in the first place, and that's to throw black people under the bus. That's exactly what he's doing right now, because we have nothing to do with his levels of perversion. When I tell you anybody can be anti-black, I do mean that. Jason Whitlock is anti-black. He has given us example after example after example, time after time over the last I don't know how many years. He's a one-trick pony. Now I can't even call him a pony. He's bigger than a pony. He's a one-trick walrus. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Get outside the home and turn hyper violent masculine because they haven't been properly discipled by a man, by their father, in how to actually be a legitimate man.
Jason Whitlock is finally, it's interesting that you telling people or trying to give lessons on how to be a man when you were like 50 something years old and you don't even know what it's to be or takes to be a man. How about this? When you become a man, then maybe we will take lessons from you. But until that time, you're trash. As far as I'm concerned, Jason Whitlock is stuck in the embryo stage and he will always be stuck there. Emphasis on the word stuck. He's basically doing the same thing that Larry Elder does when he talks about the quote unquote fatherlessness in America. Again, all you got to do is let them talk long enough and they will always sell on themselves every single time. Oh, that's the end? Oh, cool. Even better. So, yeah, that's what he had to say. Again, he did that as a deflection to get away from his level of perversion. Not surprised at all. But I know y'all have something that y'all want to say. So I'm going to let y'all come on up here and say it. So there's the link right there in the chat. I'm going to pin it. I'll run it maybe, let's see, what time is it? 12:39, 12:40. I'll run it to maybe about 1:10. That's about 30 minutes. So if anybody would like to come on up and give their piece or give their take, and I know y'all have something y'all want to say, whether it's about the article that I read or that video you just watched, feel free to come on up. Like I said, he pivots the talking, not pivots. He rides the trains, the talking points of the people that big him up. Know who he's talking to. When Jason Whitlock is saying stuff like that, he's not talking to us. He's talking to them. Exactly, John Shippey. He's looking at that and then has the nerve to try to point wag the finger at us. And shout out to, and I'm not going to say your name on here, but your initials are RW for sending the Cash App. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all saying Wallow J gonna come up first. I don't know where Wallow J is. I think he was in the chat early, but I haven't seen him. Otherwise, I know he would have clicked that link. So again, the link is right there. If anybody would like to come up, y'all can. Have 230 people in here. Shout out to y'all on this Saturday afternoon. All right, got our first person, Corvo. What's going on?
All right, Black First, brother. Brother, thanks for
B1.
having me on my own. B1. Oh man. This is probably the most pathetic and desperate cry that this cat can possibly make.
Don't speak too
First,
soon.
well,
Unfortunately, I gotta throw that in there. Don't speak too soon.
oh, okay, yeah, you're right. You can't put nothing past nobody these days, and you can't underestimate how low and how far of a reach somebody will go with a situation like this. Because just when I seen them go they lowest, it's like goddamn. But See, this is why they say that it reads like an incel wrote it.
It does. It really does sound like if you was the if you didn't know who wrote this, you would swear that an incel wrote it.
And I'm looking at Whitlock. I'm looking at how the problem is this over sexualized world, and I'm like, is the problem that the world is over sexualized, or is the problem you not ain't nobody sexualizing you, bro? That's what I gotta wonder. Is that really what this is about? Because
I think it's the latter.
Okay, all right. Because I'm gonna ask a rhetorical question like this. Any ladies in the chat, how many of y'all would be chased with Jason Whitlock if you just went off sight alone? It's rhetorical. Um, yeah, that's a rhetorical question. Jason, and then him going down the Christian conservative line, and I know most black folk wouldn't agree with me, but me personally, I have no affiliations to any political or religious leanings whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I do look at Ifa for symbolic and allegorical reasons, but not necessarily literal. But me looking at my problem with people who lean towards the biblical perspective is name everything you say you don't like about black women in this modern day. The God that you're saying we need to seek has displayed those very same tendencies. So that's what for me being non-religious, I find that ironic that that is the way that he's coming from it, because I could point to examples in which he's displaying the same tendencies that you say that you don't like about black women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's funny. And I know there's people that have their beliefs in the chat room, so they probably disagree. That's fine. I'm not trying to deconvert anyone. This is just my perspective. I'm looking at because I'm black first before everything, regardless of my religious or lack of whatever. So for Whitlock, one has to wonder how much of this is just coming from a place of him just not finding a woman to cooperate with him. Because another thing that I noticed with a lot of guys who talk like him, there's like this sexual frustrated black dude to coon pipeline. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you noticed this. The less it's like the men that have all the most anti-black males that I've ever seen, the men that just have like this, that are just cooning on a caricature level, are always the ones who seem to be less desired by women in terms of sexual attraction and desirability and whatnot. It always goes back to desirability politics. It's like and there's really no way someone can have that much contempt for black women and not have contempt for the black community as a whole. It just can't, because it's so with it just seemed like there's this pipeline from there's like this incel to coon pipeline that I'm just noticing with folks like this, because he's far from the only one. He's just the loudest one, the most well-known one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got anything else, or was that it?
That's all I got on that one.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming up.
All right.
You have a good one.
You too.
Shout out to Corvo for coming up. Next up, we got Santi. It's been a while since you've been up here.
What's going on, big dog?
What's going on?
We've been chilling, man. Happy to be alive and all that good stuff, man.
That's good to hear.
All right. Same old, man. Different day, man. Same old agenda. Black first.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm glad to see 2024 with my brethren, man. This is a blessing. But to stay on the course of the topic that you got there, Jason Whitlock has never been anybody influential.
You're right.
He is exactly who we thought him out to be, a clown, a sacrificial lamb, a coon. You know, even with his tips, whether you point to this incident, Corey Holt, any of the tips that he had, Colin Kaepernick, this, that, and the third, he's always been on the wrong side of the conversation. And
Always.
as you point to Mr. Whitlock and at least his overall persona, young people don't want to be like him. They don't inspire to be like him. These are horrendous things when you point to the grassroots, or rather individuals like us or what have you, and the amount of influence that we do have. A lot of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is coonery mixed with jealousy and different things that he knows that will never come in his grasp, no matter how hard he tries, how much weight he loses, all right, what network that he's on. He's always been used for the same character, and that's to go after Black society. Benedict Arnold, if you will, right? A step and fetch it. Any one of those characters will do to describe Jason Whitlock, all right? A man of low standard. And I'm going to put it to you as clear as this here, and you, as just looking at Jason Whitlock as a man here, the way in which you treat your own self and your body and this, that, the third, that is the perception out to the people. So if I'm walking around here, all right, rather husky and sloppy, I'm getting to a flight of steps and I'm losing my breath here, Hawks. I'm in poor shape. This has been the majority of the standards of his career. I'm happy he lost weight. But do you understand, even with him losing weight, nobody cares?
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I think he only lost that weight because Charlamagne checked him on it. Remember when remember it was a couple years ago when I think Charlamagne had made Jason Whitlock the donkey of the day. As a matter of fact, he was donkey of the day a few times on there. It was that one time he said, don't say anything, to me or about me until you've lost like 200 something pounds and you stop wearing fedoras. What ended up happening? He started losing the weight and he stopped wearing them fedoras.
You cut off for a second. I couldn't hear you. The show might have heard you, but I definitely couldn't hear you. You said it was the one time he did. He said he did what?
When Charlamagne had gave him donkey of the day on the Breakfast Club a few years ago, he had said, don't say nothing else about me or to me until you've lost about 200 something pounds and stop wearing fedoras. And ever since then, he lost the weight and stopped wearing fedoras.
Yo, I definitely didn't catch that. Oh, that's
if you go back and look at it, like it should still be on YouTube. But I remember when he said that. That was when he had the old setup with the Breakfast Club. This was pre-pandemic, so this is back when Jason was still working at Fox Sports 1. So that was a while ago. Oh snap, we lost him. But yeah, I remember when Charlamagne had said, "Oh, he's back."
You keep getting fired like Jason Whitlock. Not Jason Whitlock, Roland Martin. Well, Roland Martin got fired from 12 newspapers or something. You running around here getting fired.
Yeah,
so it's like a lot of these coons' identities are like duplicate. I'm talking about identity the same. You talk about resumes and everything. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, well, your position on power is whatever white folks is trying to hand you. All right. When he looks over at the independent networks and he sticks his chest out, oh man, well, we don't, what blacks I certain people don't support this and I don't like. Sir, you're here to be white folks' mouthpiece. You're not free to have the liberties of, say, the folks $1 billion worth of game or Cameron and Mace or any one of these other folks that built their own lane. You see, when their cases come up here, you're talking about the dominant society attaching themselves to them to invest to support what they already got going, versus you having to come out here and be Mr. Potato Head, all right, and do the Tootsie Roll and the catfish slide, all right, to make ends meet. You have to degrade yourself, all right? You have to sell your people out, all right, and make a complete clown of yourself to make ends meet. This is your job, to hold permanent disdain towards black people. All right. As you heard that coach say way back when, he said the Bears are who we thought they were. In our cases, we didn't let them off the hook. All right, but he is exactly who we thought he was. All right, and he never fails to surprise us with his levels of coonery. But this is how he pays the rent.
And let's be honest here. Another thing, and I didn't pick this up too when I was reading the article when he said he had moved out of California to move to Nashville. Let's be real here. If we do the timeline add up, he was in California the whole time he was on like sports media, like Fox Sports 1 or wherever he was, where he was making decent money. But when he got let go from the platforms, he didn't move from California, for whatever reason he claimed it is. He mostly moved out of California to move to Tennessee because he couldn't afford to live there anymore. When he got fired, he couldn't afford to live there because California's expensive. So when he got fired from another job, that's why he had to move to Tennessee. Let's be honest with ourselves here.
Yeah, I didn't know that. See, you let me know something. I had no knowledge of that.
Yeah, I don't know when you came into the stream, but when I was reading the article, he had said in the article that he wrote up that, he was living in California, like Los Angeles or something like that. But that was at the time when he was still working for FS1, where he was making better money. It's expensive to live in the state of California, no matter where in California you live at. But notice he said he moved from California to Tennessee. And I'm thinking to myself, this had to happen after he left FS1. So he wasn't making that type of money anymore. The only money he really gets now is working for the Blaze. That's why I said if he gets out of line this time and they cut him, he's done. That's why he always has to get on there and say the ridiculous stuff that he says.
Indeed. No, indeed. He's got to, you talk about reaching. He's got to jump over. He got to be the dude, Mr. Stretch Arm from Fantastic Four. He has to do it all. And he ain't got no choice. All right. Coonery is a heavy price. If folks think, all right, you talk about giving a piece of your soul, you got to give everything. Look at Stephen A. When they hit to drop that big, he was the largest paid person ESPN. The first thing that you started to see is that he had to be involved in everything. You can look up and see that the man wasn't even getting no sleep. Boxing fights, just at the third, first take. I got to be over here. I'm talking about they working the wheels off of him. For him being a high, you're not just going to be the highest paid person over here, Hawks. All right, you're going to be the number one resource at all times here, Hawks. Just because we gave you that amount of money, we're gonna work the wheels off of you. Here's your personal cell phone and answer it every time we call. Exactly. All right. And you can see the stress levels on him. That's why when Black society go after him, you gotta understand Stephen A is an individual who ain't getting no sleep like that.
You can tell, you can look at the bags on his eyes. I'm like, this man looks like he's like going into zombie mode.
Exactly. And I thought, I don't think I'm one of the few people that sit here and notice this. I'm like, yo, ain't no way in hell they can have you on 4, 5, 6 broadcasters here that last hours here, and you able to recuperate, to get home, get rest, and then get ready for first take in the morning. It's physically impossible, dude. And at his age, coonery is a heavy price. Folks, look at some of the bootlicks out here in the world. You look at the money aspect of things here. But as you get older, health is very important, man. You ain't gonna be around here to spend a damn dime if you're not looking at the circumstances of your health. And I tell you like this. For the escapes of black society will ride with you and make sure that you got everything you need. There is no reason to coon. For every bootlick that ever existed in America, cooning is I'm doing me, selfish decision. I'm gonna go ahead and screw you Negroes. I'm coming in here to do me. All right, there's a heavy price for that. And you can look around at the Sambos with the low amount of support, the Jason Whitlocks in particular here. All right. And to see that white society has to throw all the money at him in the world here, as much as they can, to keep him notable on the screens here. And at the end of the day, economically, is it worth it? No. Because in order to have a bootlick like that, at least for Stephen A., and I'll be honest, they getting a return on their investment. He can talk about sports. He can get into certain things here, and it's still a large group out here that's interested. For Whitlock, hell no. Because you can smell the hater juice on him All right, before he says anything on the mic, just looking at him, you can tell him he's a person that hates his existence. So he's getting ready to say something off the wall. It's within his reputation. All right. And not only that, when it's easy for the day-to-day citizen to just take a dump on you, all right, rather I'm mentioning Kobe, all the long list with Kaepernick, all this other stuff. All right, you become persona non grata overnight, man. Nothing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming up though. I need to get through some more people before I shut it down.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me.
No problem.
I appreciate indeed. Black first.
B1. Shout out to Fasanti for coming up. Tell it like it is. If you're still here, you can come back up. I know you was in the queue waiting, but then you fell off. I don't know if you had to like maybe step out or maybe you lost your connection. But if Tell It Like It Is is still here, you can click the link and come back up. But next up we have Joseph. What's going on?
Hey Tarian, hey chat room. Happy 2024 once again. And I'm sorry I'm late on this live. I'm celebrating my mother's birthday, who just turned 75.
Well, happy birthday to your mother. And it's a blessing that she's made it to 75.
Yes, the platinum year. Yeah, I saw the title, and I'm sorry I missed like most of the live. I'll watch the playback. But just a whole overview of Jason Whitlock. I'm glad you're doing these net bucking examinations, because this should be a cautionary tale for Black men and Black women in society who decide to coon. It is taxing. It's more taxing than you going to your 9 to 5.
Right. You can look on his face. Like when you look at Jason Whitlock, he always looks tired. He always looks like Santi was just saying. It's a very stressful thing to have to wake up every day and know that this is what you have to do. I use Candace Owens as an example. This woman was pregnant, I guess with her third child, and this woman was still going around doing whatever that she's doing, when most women who were in her stage at that point would have been home on maternity leave, getting ready. But this woman was all the way like in her 8th month, still going out there, in their eyes, quote unquote, fighting the good fight. I'm like, I know your ankles must be swollen, and you up there, and I can look on her face. Like when she went to the when she had spoke at some kind of college, it was that one video that went viral where they said she checked this white girl or something like that. And you could tell by the look on her face, that wasn't a look of her being annoyed with what the white girl was saying. That was stress, because she probably wanted to be home, off her feet. But yet she's here, because it's very, like you said, it's very taxing, because they constantly have to always be on the move. They're always on the go, because like they don't have a time where they can take a break, because buck dancing is a 24/7 job.
Sure is. And Professor Black Truth said it best. Cooning is a career that has no retirement package.
Exactly. You don't get a you don't get a W-2 for that.
or a 401k if you make it to.
Go ahead.
Or 401k if you make it to like 50, or even with some of the American coons like Diamond and Silk, you'll have those very few spurts where they come to their senses, and it's like, I know I'm cooning, but I can't take it this far. Unlike, the tethers like Stephen A. Smith, among others like Candace Owens, who they don't care if they have to crawl to like, do what they're supposed to do. They'll do it just for the sake of.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad, because it's like, for unlike Roland Martin, it's like you have those in Black society, whether foundational Black American or of the diaspora, who are here, who have talent, and they're looking at who's making the money, and it be these coons. And I just want to say to them, like, and of course you and the people in the new Black media, when y'all constantly remind us that cooning isn't worth it, all you have to do is look at this live and look at the videos previously up to see why it isn't. It's better to stand on integrity and finding new routes to gain resources.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the way, all you got to do also too is look at what they say. None of it makes any sense. Like, okay, Jason, you got caught, slipping, and you put, first off, why would you post that up on your page and think you was not going to have anybody clown you for that? See, he posted that up thinking that he was going to get back at the advertising company for putting that there. He was trying to make it seem like they were trying to make him look, he was trying to take down Temu, which is the ad company that put that ad there. He thought that this was going to be a clapback at them, but it backfired on him. Why would you even put that up there? Like, why would you incriminate yourself and then go on to your site and then write this whole long ass soliloquy that made no sense? It sounded like it was written from an incel to try to throw it back at other people instead of taking accountability for yourself. Notice he never talked about taking accountability, because he would have sounded like a hypocrite if he did that, because like, no, we could have got you right there. You said something about taking accountability, but you didn't do it right there when you posted that picture up exposing what ads pop up, and then try to make it seem like we didn't know what we were talking about. Then double down on a video the next day. Like, man.
He should have taken some more Sun Tzu lessons in the art of war. Apparently, it seems like, he just went off on a whim. I just wanted to come up here to, share my tidbit. I'm gonna head out, but chat room, everyone stay ready and vigilant.
No problem. Appreciate you coming up.
No problem.
All right. And we're gonna bring up the last person, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I didn't even see the whole thing, because all I saw at the bottom was says Jason Whitlock, and I saw an L, but I didn't know what the rest of it said.
Hey, that's where the heart is. The heart knows what the body wants.
Wow. What's going on, KG?
On the way to plantation, it's raining down here. At least we ain't got no snow. How you faring up there?
Well, like the last time I looked, nothing was really coming out. I think it might have been like some freezing rain, and that's about it.
All right, that's good. That's good. We don't need y'all getting a storm unsuspectedly. But we know who had a storm unexpectedly because he couldn't keep his mouth shut. Why would you do this on one of the holy days of sports in this country? You did that during 2 of the college football playoff games. Why would you do that, sir?
Again, he was trying to garner attention. He'll never say it, but that's what it was.
Even the white supremacists, they didn't even come to defend him. I want y'all to realize that. They didn't defend him on that. They were too busy watching football. They let him stew. His boss, Glenn Beck, didn't even say, wow, that's messed up.
Exactly. The only people that was coming to his defense were his stands in the comment section, like leaving the usual comments and saying, oh, that was, first off, that article that I read that he wrote, well, that was nothing but a damage control piece anyway. Again, it was all over the place, and they usually come in there and they always like to say, oh, Jason, you're so brave. Oh, Jason, you're so courageous. Oh, Jason, you're so brave. None of that applies. None of those words remotely applies to him. Again, to the people in the chat, Jason Whitlock is the type of person that they like. Those are the black people that they accept. Him, Candace, Fakem, CJ Pearson, the list goes on. Whenever they feel people are when they feel that they are echoing what they're saying, those are the people that they like. I call them the shield. They are the shield because they're the one that takes all the slings and arrows so they can be protected. And they will jump out the window and literally do that.
Funniest thing, man. Bro, that's a great way to start off the new year, no?
That's why I titled the Triple P the way that I did. I said, what a way to kick off 2024. I intentionally, did title it that way. And I said, who would have thought that video that you did, which was the one I went over in this stream, fell into my lap. I said, oh, this is perfect. I can do a Triple P and a bed bucking in the same day. And like I said, this is the first time ever where it's fallen like that. Never have I ever done a Triple P and a bed bucking video in the same day on the same person.
Yeah.
I might have done it in the same day, but never on the same person.
Fact. Did you see that link I put in there earlier apparently somebody from Barstool Sports outed him.
Did you do
Saying
that
he's
today?
done this before.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, check that out. And also, you know how he responded again, right?
To the same thing?
Uh-huh. You know
The
how
thing
he
is,
responded?
the fact that he keeps responding means that he cares about
like
what the people
one.
think. What did you say?
He's deflecting and now going at Stephen A. Smith again.
Oh, when I went to his page, because again I blocked him, so I had to go to his page to actually retrieve that video because I can even bookmark it because I blocked him. So I had to actually stay on his page in order to show the video. But I saw that I mentioned that. I said now he has a new target. He's already said all he had to say about Deion Sanders for like 4 months. Now he's going after Stephen A. Smith. So, and this is not, and I think I talked about them before in another video when I call it like the bed bucking wars or something like that. Stephen A. Smith versus Jason Whitlock. So yeah, they've been going at each other. But now with that, all I can say is we just sit back and just eat the popcorn and let the sparks and let the butter dust just fly. That's really all you can do when it comes to that.
Can we call it the uncivil coon war?
The uncivil. Wow.
I'm gonna see if I can do my Photoshop skills and see if I can make that photo using a Civil War poster.
Listen, you actually gave me a good idea when you were talking about the Coonfinity Gauntlet, because now it's like I said that would be so easy to make in Photoshop.
Yeah, you gotta make the Coonfinity Gauntlet.
Oh, that would be. It's like, and the thing is, when you said it, I immediately saw in my head how I would make. And the thing is, it wouldn't even take long. I could probably knock that out in like 10 minutes. It would be so quick and so easy, but it would be so funny. Like you literally, I probably will maybe work on that after this stream is over.
Yeah, man, it's all good. But yeah, this guy. So we went from. Well, I'm not gonna say the P word, but we went from that to blaming black women.
Mm-hmm.
For your internet search history because you don't know how to delete cookies.
Or what he could have did is like what a lot of other people do and go into the incognito mode.
Oh, there you go. Or DuckDuckGo. They don't keep track of that.
You went on your main browser with the ads attached, or you could have had an ad blocker on if you was going to go on your main browser. That way the ad won't pop up.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think quick. He doesn't think quick on his feet.
No, and make it worse, you took a screenshot.
That's what I said. You self-snitched. You put yourself out there thinking you was gonna stick it to the advertising company, and it backfired.
Oh my God. This has got to be one of the greatest self-owns in history.
It has to be. Listen, it's only January 6th, y'all. We ain't even out of the first full week yet, and all of this is going on.
Oh, man.
This is the year of exposure and self-exposure. First, you got Cat Williams going in the way he did. Now you got Jason Whitlock self-snitching on himself.
Do you think Nimrod is trying to get his crown? Because she went and self-owned herself too.
Oh, she did. You know what? I was going to talk about her in my live stream. I was going to go on my live stream about her yesterday, but I had forgot that I had recorded a video on her hours before and took her off the list. I got a lot of smoke for her coming up. I have a lot of smoke for her coming up.
We gotta talk.
Listen, like you said, this year it's going to be a lot of political content, and y'all know I don't do political content like Kid Gravity does. I really don't. But on this instance with Nimrod or Ron Howard, because I told y'all I ain't calling her by the name she wants to be called by in 2024, and I would highly suggest everyone else does neither. We're gonna call her by her government name. I came across that the recent stuff that came out about her, and I think Lisa Cabrera actually talked about it last night or earlier this morning. I came across quite a few things. I said she opened up her own can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
She opened up her own personal Pandora's box.
You know you're going to make me go home now and re-record it, right?
If you feel you have to, I mean, do what you feel you got to do.
It was only like 8 minutes, and I was just covering.
Oh, listen, my video
this might be a 30-minute video.
No, I'm gonna tell you right now, the video I have coming up on her is almost 20 minutes.
Let's go.
And it like literally, it literally took me about like a 20-minute video, and I had to edit as I was going along because the thing is I didn't want to miss the spot. So I would record one part, stop it, insert something there, talk about that part, stop, record, then insert another part, talk about that part, and stop. So like I was literally editing the video as I was going along. And for those of y'all who are not into content creation, editing as you're recording is not easy. It's really not. A lot of people
like
prefer.
Sometimes when I record, I'm like, oh shit, I could put this sound clip in there because of something that somebody said, and I gotta get it.
Exactly, because the thought comes into your mind while you're right there, and you don't want to forget as you're talking, because then it's like, okay, I made it to the end of the video of me recording it, but I feel like I forgot something.
And then sometimes you do forget it, and then you play the video like, damn, I should have put that in there.
I might have to jump that. I might have to jump the line with that video and probably put that up this week, because I got a lot of other videos in front of it, but I might have to slip that in there. Maybe I'll let it sit for a little bit, and I might upload it towards the end of the week. But man, oh my God. Listen,
I got that video coming, and I got one on ramen noodles.
And what made it so easy for me is that I didn't have to go to YouTube to find these video clips. All I had to do was go to Twitter. All the video clips that I'm using in that video all came from Twitter, and they all came damn near like almost literally back to back because they were all right there. All you have to do is type in certain keywords, and you'll be amazed what pops up. And all 3 videos that I needed all came from Twitter. So I said, thank you. That makes it so much easier.
Oh my God, this is Torian. You gotta come down to the political realm. You gotta stick your head in every other week. Because if you stick it in every week, you're not gonna get out.
Right.
This is one rabbit hole. If you come in and shut the door, you never escape it. Because the shit you find out, boy. Whew. But yeah, just let me end it off with this. Whitlock, Fatlock, Buttlock, whatever the hell you want to call him, sir. Live your truth. It's okay. Conservatives are degenerates. We're just gonna call it what it is. We have heard stories. We have seen the footage. Conservatives like to go to these America Fest and Turning Point USA conferences, and all they want to do is F. That's it. Including each other's wives and husbands.
Oh.
We know this. It's okay. You went to Memphis to troll for some trim. You didn't get none. And you were frustrated because it was the start of the new year. You ain't get none. You didn't get to raise in 2024 inside of a woman. I'm just saying. or whatever your persuasion is. And you decided to troll the first year. You couldn't even wait the second day of the year. But maybe Brazos had maybe they had a sale that day. Maybe they did. Maybe it was free for the new year. I don't know. But you did that, and then now you outed yourself, and now we ain't never gonna forget this.
Never.
And he gonna make sure we don't forget it either, because remember, he still has it on his page. He never took it down. It's still there.
It's still there. Twitter took views away from that, right?
They what?
They took views away from that.
How did they do that?
Remember when I talked about it?
Oh, you mean on your video?
No.
On his post.
When I talked about it, it had 24.3 million views, right?
Oh, okay.
I looked at it today. They took 300,000 views off of it.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
That's Elon. Listen, that's Elon Musk's Twitter. I don't know.
He might have called up Elon. I don't know. But yeah. Whitlock. Yeah. It would have been better if you had a food obsession, sir. This is never going away. This is going on your gravestone, sir. When they break you, this is going to be the highlight.
He's going to break himself.
Buddies, right. Even your white buddies didn't even say, you know what? We can't defend this. And when your stands did come in to defend you, they got cooked.
Mm-hmm. But because they was in there trying to tell people how targeted ads were. It's like, don't insult our intelligence. We know exactly how it works. It was people that work in IT that was down. You didn't even have to be in IT to know how it worked. I literally posted a picture in the video showing how retargeted ads work. That's exactly what you did.
Can we just start calling him BD Whitlock? But I'm gonna get out of here and get into the plantation, man. Excellent stream as usual. The chat, stay warm out there and stay safe. And I'm out of here.
Peace. Shout out to Kid Gravity for coming up, and we got one more person. We got Vlad coming up. Not that Vlad, y'all. I would never let that one up here. He would never come over here anyway. But what's going on?
Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I gotta tell you, I don't know how I feel about following Kid Gravity. It's like trying to follow up Bernie Mac when you just have Steve Harvey lines.
I'm sure he'll take that as a compliment. What's going on?
It was a compliment. I was gonna try and be all serious and stuff, but I feel like just making a bunch of Fatlock jokes now. I mean, I could go on. Like, can you give me like 2 minutes just to go ahead and let off?
Go ahead.
All right. Like you were saying, you got a 20-minute video coming. 20 minutes. You mean the amount of time that it used to take Jason Fatlock to take off that fedora?
Damn.
Okay, I'll keep going. All right. 20 minutes. You mean to tell me that you've got content that actually takes about 40 of Gravy Whitlock's sexual encounters? Okay, that's good. Okay, you mean Gravy Fatlock, the man who sounds big on the radio? And I took that joke from Cat Williams. I actually credit my material.
He said I should credit my material.
But no, it's like I gotta tell you, the butter dust is real, and I think I said it like 2024 was going to be boots to bootlegs, and I don't know why. Maybe you can help me, but I don't know why they keep coming up, because we've already proven that the white man's ice is not colder, and the butter dust is literally just powdered butter. It's not really that hard to make. I don't know why they're lining up like it's new now. But exactly. I don't know. But you keep fighting the good fight. You got me. You got me motivated. I came off the sidelines. I started making content this year.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Yeah, nowhere near on your level. I'm literally just like.
Hey, like I said, all I always tell people when it comes to this is just, be consistent. That's all I have to say. Consistency is key.
Yeah, I just figure if I'm doing I figure 24 hours in a day, I got about 1 minute that I can spare to go ahead and just rage off on whatever. All right, but anyway, sir, you have a great afternoon. Thanks for letting me come and talk to you.
All right, no problem. All right, shout out for Vlad for coming up. He said he had to fire off just a little bit. Hey, say it with your chest, and that's exactly what he did. Because as far as we know, Jason Whitlock, only when he be saying it with his breast. But that's going to bring this stream right here to a close, this midday stream to a close. Shout out to everybody that came up and spoke. Shout out to Tell It Like It Is and SD Johnson for the super chat, and also RW, I didn't forget you, in the Cash App for contributing as well. Shout out to everybody that came through in the chat, all of my people on Patreon, the members, everyone who follows me on Instagram, Twitter, and in the Discord. I appreciate each and every one of you. We will be back here tomorrow with the 11 a.m. Eastern time upload. Be sure to be on the lookout for that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm, especially if you are on the East Coast, because it is frigid out here. Be safe and be one.